Another Victory Monday. Happy Victory Monday, Vikings fans. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. Made even better by the Vikings pulling out the dominant W against the Detroit Lions, wearing the beautiful winter Warrior jerseys. And we ring in the new year with the Vikings on a little 4-game heater with a chance to take down the backups of the division rival Packers for above 500 record, 9-8, when no one ever thought that would happen with the way this season went down. I understand there's going to be the teams we beat sucked at the end. I don't care. They're NFL teams. You found a way to win. You have a chance to get above 500. So, I mean, hey, a great way to end the season, especially if you can find a way to do it against the Packers. Yes, we're going to be playing their backups. Don't care about that either. Find a way to get the job done. But, yeah, I mean, very nice end of the season here. That win against Detroit was freaking phenomenal, mainly on the defensive side of the ball, which we'll talk about a little in depth later on. But hey, 8-8 Vikings, 4-game win streak. Gotta love it.
Yeah, dude. That's crazy. And we talked about this getting on. It's kind of like, I said bittersweet, but it's like more bitter. I feel more bitter about it, honestly. And I'm sure a lot of Viking fans do too, to know that we were a Cowboys win instead of a tie, or a Chicago Bears win in that second away from this week 18 game against the Packers, meaning something, which would have been crazy, because the fact that we started the way we did with the roller coaster, all those things, if we beat this Packers team, yes, they want their starters, but that's just finishing the season off with 5 straight wins. Obviously, I know the schedule thing, as well as the draft pick and all of those kinds of things by beating the Lions. But man, on Christmas Day, you go in and you dominate the Lions that way, especially when the offense literally is doing nothing, the way that we did. And kind of like, because we all know how the Lions fans have become. We saw them. They didn't know their place, and now they do, which is the bottom of the division again. And
no, wild.
That's exactly what we did.
I know far south.
Yeah. And then on top of that, they have all this money being spent and all those kinds of things. So this is a pretty big deal for them not to make playoffs this year. We're a year away from the Lions kind of just being them same old Lions, but that's crazy. So to come out on Christmas and ruin the Lions' chances the way that we did with Max Brosmer as our starting quarterback, man. That's exactly how things were supposed to go. And I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the big story of that game was quarterback play, which we can get into. Show some people out, though, for us.
Yeah, Bob Swede in the building right away. Our guy, Bob. Let's go. Bleeding purple. Let's go, everyone. Young Smokey in the building. Screw the Packers.
Always.
Crazy can't draft. The Bears game ruined our season. The Bears. Oh, dude. I know. That's what we were talking about before getting on here. Is just like the Bears game. Obviously, a bunch of stuff. I was a happy guy on Christmas on my fantasy ship. Hey, I won too. Let's go. Two-toned in the building. Hey, what's up, guys? Hope you had a good. Hey, yeah, it was my kid's first Christmas. So that was really cool to see. Got him a ball pit, and nice. Yeah, and I know Two-toned hit me up directly, texted me and asked me about that already. So he already knew about that, which I appreciate. But welcome in, Delton, Quasi, plus KOC, Flores. I'm taking KOC and Flores. I'm sorry.
KFC?
KOC.
I can go some KFC right about now.
KFC. KKF. Okay. Hey, it's been a minute, dude.
It's been a minute.
What's going on?
It's like mid last season, I think.
I know. Now I'm trying to. What's your
Music in the Misery, right?
Music in the Misery. Thank you. Yes. What's going on?
Always remember.
Yep. Kick the ball to the end zone against the Bears. We would be in the playoffs.
At least have it would at least be a meaningful game, which then we could really do the back-to-back weeks, kicking the Lions and the Packers out of the playoffs. And that's the biggest thing. Like, we win this game, a 4-2 divisional record is kind of wild.
Yeah. And it should be 5.
Yeah,
If
and
he
I do
wins
got to
this game,
say, I mean,
he's
and again, I
5-1.
understand the defense has been the main reason we've been in a lot of these games for the last month, but a lot of this does come down to your head coach. I got to give credit to where credit is due. Flores obviously deserves a ton of credit. We're going to talk about him in depth later on with kind of stuff that was said at the press conference today and the fact that the guy should be up for a head coaching job. But you got to give Kevin O'Connell a ton of credit here for keeping the guys engaged when they easily could have quit. Like that shows something. Like that shows a team and a coaching staff that has a lot of heart, and that'll start with Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah. Young Smokey with the $20. Appreciate you, bro. I've been saying it for weeks. Fire the scouting department, the medical staff, and the strength and conditioning coach.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah, the scouting department. Yeah.
Hey, there's the scouting department. Some of those picks are starting.
It's starting to come around. Yeah. We'll see. There's still some question marks out there because
there's a ton of question marks.
Dallas Turner led defense in PFF grade last week, and then obviously JJ McCarthy coming on strong at the end, the injury thing so that brings me to the medical staff. Yeah, get rid of them. What if that's what it is? What if we got rid of the medical staff and JJ McCarthy didn't get hurt a single time for the rest of his career? You never know.
Maybe Kevin O'Connell's trying to get him hurt. Go back to that conspiracy.
Right, go back to Kevin O'Connell purposely putting him in position to get hurt. Strength and conditioning coach. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I think some jobs are going to be less, I guess, like more likely to be saved with ending the season 9-8 compared to if, I don't know, what it was looking like 5 weeks ago.
For sure.
I'm like, it doesn't, even though you didn't make playoffs, I do think, which is, it might not be a totally good thing because there's probably some guys that deserve to, get fired and things like that. So I don't know what that's going to look like. But at the same time, I also know the urgency to be competitive is going to be extremely high. And there might have to be some tough decisions no matter what. So if you no matter what happens because of that earlier stretch. And especially when there's a couple, we're so close to having an opportunity to make playoffs like we've talked about.
For sure.
Where's the offense at? Well, that last week we can get into it in a second. Actually, we will. Give me 1 second. They need to give Flores a code. Yeah. Whatever it takes. And we're going to talk about that specifically, but wherever it takes. Kelsey has our offense right. Yeah. But
fair, but the revolving door at quarterback, the revolving door at offensive line. Now, yes, he does there's some fault with the play calling and the adjustments taking, until the end of the season to put McCarthy in a kind of a better spot. And a lot of the quarterback decisions to come into this season with McCarthy, Sam Howell, Max Brosmer, then eventually Carson Wentz as well. A lot of that did probably have a lot to do with Kevin O'Connell as well here, but I don't know. I just think there is a series of unfortunate events that really led to this because let's be real. Every year before this, the offense had been ranked in the top half of the league at the very least. So I don't know. I just think there was way too many outside circumstances that led to the offense being the way that it was at this point. And yes, he does have a lot of fault in that, again, mainly just for forming the offense to Kevin O'Connell or to JJ McCarthy, then obviously not running the ball enough at certain times as well. So yes, well, he does have a fault in it. I think there's a lot of other circumstances that led to that 29th ranked defense this year.
Yeah. And I agree. And you were against bad defenses. But when JJ McCarthy gained that confidence and things were clicking, this offense was clicking, the play calling was clicking. And we were also against a lot of tough defenses throughout the entire season.
Look, I love Jordan Mason, and Jordan Mason he can be a bell cow back, but also, Aaron Jones was a huge part of this offense as well, and he was out for a month after that first game too. You got to remember that as well here. So, again, a lot of revolving door, a lot of circumstances that led to the offense being kind of where it's at this season, but eventually O'Connell did adjust, and ever since then, this offense has been playing much better. When it's not Max Brosmer under center. Yeah.
Which again, easier defenses, sure. But at the same time, you have to,
32.
We've been against some of the tougher defenses too. Detroit, Green Bay, especially with Parsons, Chicago's leading the NFL in takeaways. The Browns defense with Myles Garrett has always been good. The Steelers defense was good at the time when we played them, but they've a lot of passing yards since then. Philadelphia's defense, or Chargers defense, Seattle's defense. These are top 10 defenses in the NFL. And with our quarterback situation, and I get it, it's an excuse, but I think if you're going to be but they're playing against good defense or bad defenses, then you should be able to say those other games we played against. Good.
Well, right, because they're like Sam Darnold when we played Seattle didn't really play well, right? But you don't see Seattle being like, well, I mean, we really can't count that win because we played against Max Brosmer in his first start. Like, you're not like other teams aren't doing this for whatever reason. It's just a Vikings fan thing to where it's like when things start to go well, we got to find the reasons to try to pump the brakes on it all. And instead of just being like, hey, positive steps forward, especially with a young quarterback that we're hoping can.
But you're not allowed to make any excuses for them when they're losing games. You know?
Right, for sure. So I mean, we have 161 total yards with Max Brosmer at quarterback. Yeah. I mean, that is something that needs to be talked about in that scenario.
Which speaking of, let's go into it because that's another thing. Is you're twice Max. I mean, Max Brosmer had 4 interceptions
and
in
this
a single
game was all about that not happening. I mean, Kevin O'Connell seeing how the game started. Hey, the defense is on one right now. Max, don't turn the ball over. Now that. I think he was overthinking too much, probably. And O'Connell did mention that today. I said he had opportunities where he could have thrown the ball. There were some throws he should have made but didn't make. He's like, but we really went into this game with the number one thing being ball security. And at the very least, you can say he did that well. No turnovers, nothing really to write home about in the pass game. But it was one of those games where the offense did just enough. He had a huge throw to basically ice the game on third down on that last drive before the Reichert field goal. So it's like, certain things he did well, but this whole game was all just about mitigating the mistakes that he made in Seattle, especially seeing how that defense was playing all game long.
You can't act like if we had like an above average quarterback back there that we wouldn't have a lot more yards.
Yeah, absolutely.
If we didn't go through this court, if JJ McCarthy just played the way he did in these last handful of games throughout the season, you can't tell me this offense would not be ranked much higher than it is.
Right. Before the concussion, how wild would it have been seeing on Twitter people saying like, man, if McCarthy was in this game, we'd be up by 30 points. Like how wild was that? You never would have thought any Vikings fans would ever be saying that about McCarthy.
Yeah, and that's what he's done. I mean, that's what he's done. He showed it took 2. I mean, we need to see more from him, but those 2.5 games showed you that this kid can ball.
And that is why I think it's if he can get out there, if he can grip the ball and throw it, he has to play this week. I mean, look, and I at this point, I don't know if it's going to happen. I'd be leaning more towards probably not. But I mean, it's going to be a big offseason for him, right? Because I mean, obviously, this coaching staff and front office, if everybody stays, can't afford another season like this. So I do think they'll be aggressive at quarterback. I don't think I honestly, while the Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson thing will be fun, I don't see that happening. I really don't. I think that's a low percentage thing. But I mean, it's a big, it's a big step for McCarthy. McCarthy could have one more good game, go into this offseason thing, and like with the confidence knowing he can play in the NFL. After that, then it's all about working on the mechanics in the offseason. But at least then at that point, because obviously, yes, Kevin O'Connell is going to want to win some game next year, has to get to the playoffs and win a playoff game if he really wants to keep his job safe. So I think they'll do whatever it takes to put themselves in a better position. But it's better for everybody involved in this in the Vikings organization to have JJ McCarthy come in next season, stay healthy, take that job, and take that job by the horns, and then be our quarterback for the next 10 years. Like that is best case scenario. Yes, they need to plan for other things as well, and probably be aggressive at maybe not super aggressive, but aggressive enough at backup quarterback to where we have a better option than what we had coming into this season. But at the end of the day, it's just best case scenario for McCarthy to take the job and run with it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And another win this season would take huge steps for that, especially if he comes out and plays well.
Well, yeah, and another one is just it would be big as far as like, he missed a week with his hand injury, which is, concerning the whole injury thing. But if he was able to come out and play well, 1 week off will give a better taste, I think, in most Viking fans' mouth instead of going into this offseason with him missing the final 2 games,
Right, and especially because then the most recent thing people are going to think of is he played well, but he was hurt. Like,
but then he was hurt.
The recency bias is going to say, well, he ended the season the way that he kind of started it. Getting hurt.
Right. Which is fair. That's why I'm like, we need to see him go out there. We need him to play well and kind of just give us that little, especially, I mean, again, he's going to be against, some backups here or at least to some extent. So, you want to go and just, I don't know, finish on a high note. And that's the whole thing. And that's what we talked about before too. Well, actually, no, we'll kind of get into that with the Vikings outlook, I think. But yeah, overall, JJ McCarthy, I'm with you. I'm not like convinced that we're going to see McCarthy play this week. I'm hoping so, but I think like, the news of them saying like, oh, swelling has came down. I'm like, that's not like, that's good news, but it's not like significantly good news.
Right. Yeah, no. I mean, I think like tomorrow or Wednesday, because I think O'Connell's, that's when the first practice is going to be. So Wednesday we'll know.
Yeah.
I mean, if he was limited, probably a good
Hopefully.
thing. If he's DNP, I'd I'd be saying. I mean, that I'd be saying he's probably not going to play. I mean,
Yeah.
because obviously hairline fracture can take about a month to heal, depending on how severe it was.
And it sounds like it sounds like it was pretty minor.
Yeah, and I think at this point it's going to be pain management, and literally just like O'Connell said, like I mean, if he can't grip the football, he can't play quarterback. That's basically the end of it. That's basically end of
Yeah.
story. So
Right.
if he can grip it and rip it, it's going to be pain management and how efficient he
And
can
I
be.
think he'll
with
want to play. He'll want to play through.
Well, of course. I mean,
It's
because
one
again,
game, and
it's
it's one
all
game.
just about it's about going into the offseason on a high note,
Right.
especially like we said, especially with what could happen at the quarterback position going through this offseason. Because there's fans out there that want us to be aggressive and go get either. I mean, if you can get a Joe Burrow, great, but otherwise get a backup quarterback who has a higher floor than what we had this year, which shouldn't be hard to do, unfortunately. But and there's a ton of names out there that will probably be available.
Much higher floor than what we had last year.
And there's going to be a ton of guys out there that will either be available via trade or cuts in free agency. So
yeah, there's some big names. It's going to be an interesting when it comes offseason when it comes to quarterbacks, I think.
It is. And of course, and at the end of the day, though, Kevin O'Connell does need to think about job security here, and he has to have, and we've talked about it multiple times already, has to have a better backup plan than what we had this year. Because I understand. I think McCarthy can play in this league for sure, but you can't go into next season expecting him to play every game. Like that would just be foolish on Kevin O'Connell's part, knowing how this season is.
Speaking of foolish,
but that's not to say that JJ McCarthy isn't going to be the favorite to win the job next year. Because unless there is a huge trade, I do think he is the favorite to start next year for the Vikings.
Yep. Yeah. Not even a question. Speaking of foolish, actually, before I get into that, because I'm not talking about you, Darren, but Darren's in the building. What's going on, dude? Give Flo the blank check, plain and simple. Yeah, facts. What up, George, in the building? We got Barber in the building. What's going on, Barber? Let's go. Foolishness is thinking that we could get an undrafted free agent quarterback and he could come in and be the next Brock Purdy, and actually thinking, like, having hope that was possible. I guess especially the way that JJ McCarthy was playing, but I think we've seen enough. I'm still in the corner of like, hey, I want to see he was a rookie, undrafted rookie. I want to see him progress, and I would still love for him to end up being that like high-end quarterback too someday. But as far as right now, man, it sounds like if McCarthy's not going, it will be Brosmer again. But I hate to even say the word Brett Ripon, but at this point, I'm even probably throwing in just somebody that I feel more confident can get Justin Jefferson the football some way or another to get his 1,000 yards. But as far as Max Brosmer goes, yeah, I was hoping like the best case scenario, we at least seen enough that we could maybe we felt a little bit confident about him going in as maybe even the backup. But at this point, it seems really obvious, not just from the JJ McCarthy's injury standpoint, but just from the play of Max Brosmer, that we for sure need somebody else in there. Because like we've said, like he had like 50 yards throwing last week, and
that passing yards. Too,
yeah, which was really interesting because I don't know. He seems like he's lost some confidence, which he had 4 interceptions or whatever. But during the preseason, it was just his ability to go through his progressions and make quick decisions was so fast. And last game, it was like he was just slow. His processing felt way slower.
And real game speed will do that too, especially, preseason, yes, you're playing against a Titans starters, but at the end of the day, it's vanilla offense and defense. So when he actually got into it here, a little tougher. And look, I was, before the draft even, I was a Max Brosmer guy, Gopher fan. I thought he could be a long-term backup here, but I was not even calling for him to get any starting snaps this year. Because, it was obvious to me that this guy isn't NFL ready yet, but I do think he played well enough in the preseason where someone may have poached him as their quarterback 3. But at this point, with seeing how he's playing the regular season, I'd say it's a pretty safe bet that they'd be able to sneak or get him onto the practice squad next year if they want to, and have either 2 or 3 higher end quarterbacks on the main roster for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is probably kind of how that's going to roll out. Hopefully he progresses, but I think at this point, Vikings quarterbacks throughout the season, it's obviously really bad. Carson Wentz came in, was up and down himself. We traded Sam Howell right before the season. Max Brosmer wasn't the Brock Purdy we hope. JJ McCarthy, obviously a roller coaster of the season, the injuries. At least, though, there's the bright spots to end the season, I think, if he comes out against the Packers and plays and looks good, even if it's backups. I think that will be a good step forward to like just a little bit more confidence and just knowing that he gets the full off season to work on the mechanics and all those things. Hopefully we hear the reports that he reached out to Josh Allen's whoever the guy he called to help with his mechanics, like find out that he called him or something.
Yeah, but the good thing is, like you said, like it's to the point now where he knows he can play in the NFL. Like if you can play well against the worst defenses in football, guess what? You can play in the damn NFL, right? So now that's not the question anymore. The question is the mechanics and the health, and that's all it's going to be. Yeah. I guess let us drop some names you guys would like to see at backup quarterback in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking. Jamie, I know you've talked about Tua before.
I did talk about Tua, which I'm not. We can bring that up. Sure.
Look, I have been convinced.
Yeah, I'm going to go back.
That if there was a way to do this, if he gets cut, because I mean the Falcons are probably going to might be switching up GM, coach, that type of stuff.
Wait, are you going to?
I would not hate
going here.
I would not hate bringing back Kirk Cousins because basically what he had said, he's like he said had he known we were going to draft a quarterback anyway, he would have stayed here and been okay with either being having a competition or being a backup. I think he's at the point in his career where as long as you pay, and he's still going to be getting paid by the Falcons, mind you, so you can get him for damn cheap. Comes in, knows the offense, has shown this year that he can still play if the situation's right. I'm just saying, I think if you want a safe, medium-ish floor type of quarterback, Kirk Cousins could be your guy. If you do want a reclamation project who has legit starting experience, a Zach Wilson type could work as well. But I've just been convinced enough that if they can get Kirk, and this is like cheap, like you're paying him bet minimum because he's getting paid by somebody else. 100%. I've convinced myself I would not hate Kirk Cousins as long as he knew you're coming in here sure to compete, but you ain't going to be the start. You're not going to be the starter coming in. You're going to be. You're not going to be the favorite to win the starting job.
PNJJ, I want Kyler simply because I want another style.
Would not hate Kyler either.
Yeah. So where I go with Cousins over Wilson. So because that's the thing. Actually,
Cousins was again just like it was before. Cousins would be safe, just like he was basically his entire career here.
Right. Well, it obviously be very safe as a backup quarterback. And that's what I would say because that's the thing. Like there's so many, and there's so many people where it's just like there's names out there that are just triggering, right? So Cousins coming back is triggering, even though it's a completely different scenario when you talk about him as and I'm talking legit back. I'm not saying come here and compete. You ain't competing unless JJ McCarthy goes down. I do not like the idea. Fuck no for Kurt. Much love though. Yeah. 1999. Appreciate you, young Smokey Art guy. We always appreciate you, bro. But that's what I was gonna say. Like, that's what the Kirk Cousins thing is. And I'm with Casey on this one, where I'm not gonna do that with names. Like, if you promise me Kirk Cousins is coming to be your backup, and if something happens to JJ McCarthy, Kirk Cousins can come in, I would allow it. The same thing with Tua. With Tua, I know Casey's like, hell no to Tua, and so many people are like, no, why would you want Tua? He had the most interceptions this year. Well, Daniel Jones it's just those names just ring people's head. Like Daniel Jones was one of those players. Russell Wilson is 100% one of those players. And regardless of how you think about Russell Wilson,
how they all fared this year?
Who?
Those names that you mentioned, the Tua, not great. Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I know, but that's great. Because they were. But that's Daniel Jones was not great
by the end of the year.
Yeah, but Daniel Jones was not great for the Giants. Comes over here and he did start off really good with the Colts, and not great ending, but still higher than a backup quarterback. Tua. When it comes to Tua, he led he almost had 5,000 yards one season. He's led the league in accuracy and things like that. Obviously left-handed, all those things. But that's the thing is like, yeah, you're talking about a high-end backup. Of course, you ain't going to go get some quarterback that played well this year as a starter. Right, yeah. Unless it's Malik Willis. At this point, Malik Willis might have a real shot.
Mac Jones, but Mac Jones is going to require some
but even his last couple games weren't great. Jameis Winston, obviously. I would take a chance at that.
Winston, though, I think the problem with Jameis Winston is that every time McCarthy makes a mistake, everyone loves
Kirk Cousins will be like that on steroids.
And that is to an extent, especially since he has a history here. There's fans
and half the fans still like him.
Still love him, but
yeah.
I don't know.
But Kirk Cousins would make a way bigger headache, I think, than Jameis Winston. So.
Jameis Winston, and this isn't a Jameis Winston problem because Jameis Winston has handled everything with class pretty much, which I appreciate. But he's one of those types that people like him so much that as soon as McCarthy makes one mistake, they're going to be calling for Jameis Winston to come into the game.
Yeah, but people are going to do well.
People would do that
are
going
to say fuck no to Kirk Cousins, but
pretty much any quarterback we could bring in, people that don't like McCarthy would do that anyway.
To all of them. Kyler Murray is not. Kyler Murray is just a pipe dream because Kyler Murray he's way too young and way too much hype.
You said the same thing about Daniel Jones.
When?
Are we talking that you don't think Arizona's going to move on from him?
No, I don't think Kyler Murray's
would go somewhere to compete. He'd want to be a starter. You're thinking?
Yeah, or at least the very least compete to be a starter. Like he just has too much hype and was a former first overall pick, and has been an MVP level played at some points in his career. So it's hard for me to believe that Kyler Murray is going to even be close to an option. I think he's going to get probably overpaid somewhere, and who knows, maybe it works out, maybe it's not an overpaid, but overpaid based off a player that just got benched by one of the worst teams in the NFL, in the Cardinals. So that's the hard part with that. Tua, I feel like people are just down on Tua. I feel like you might be able to get a steal on him even if you don't like him or whatever. Jameis Winston, obviously I'd like him, but he's also a player that, he isn't really he's going to make a lot of mistakes still, and things like that.
And I'll tell you what, like, I know I mentioned Mac Jones. I am not trading draft picks for Mac Jones.
What's going on?
If you want Jones, what's going on, Rap? If you want Jones, you're gonna have to trade for him because he's still under contract.
I don't like that.
I'm not trading any draft picks for Mac Jones.
Definitely not with the. I would take two. Come on, tell me this. Trade for Mac Jones or take Tua
for like $1 million. I'd take Tua for $1 million. But of course, defensive coordinator is going to have a lot to say with that too, because him and Brian Flores don't really get along.
Yeah, that's you brought that up before too, and I'm like, shit, I didn't even think about that.
That could be messy, but we'll see. But again, there has to be a better backup quarterback option than there was this year. And that's I don't think any Vikings fan can argue that.
See, like, I don't want competition.
But like whether you love or hate JJ McCarthy, you got to have a better backup plan than you did this year, because you can't rely on him to stay healthy. At this point, Kevin O'Connell cannot bet his job that he's going to stay healthy. You're right. So, yeah.
Malik Willis though is interesting because I know that's what who said that again? Kinetic. I will take Zach Wilson, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm not convinced. But Zach Wilson's been complete trash.
Well, he's that Sam Darnold type, right? To where like Sam Darnold was the same way. We bring him in here, people are like, well, if a coach can get him and just pull out all the good, which Kevin O'Connell has shown he can do with guys that have had starting experience before. But I don't know. It is tough because then you look at a guy like Sam Howell, who also had starting experience before, and he could not be fixed. So. Yeah.
So that's the hard part. But Zach Wilson obviously was super hyped and things like that. But we haven't seen even the same level of play from Zach Wilson that we even got to see from Sam Darnold, I feel like. But I'll take Zach Wilson over a lot. Especially I'll take Zach Wilson over trading for Mac Jones.
Yeah. Which, by the way, one little interesting nugget that happened last night is Vikings country. We're going to be able to have a lot of conversations Sunday morning. Because Sam Darnold, everyone said, show me Sam Darnold in a gotta have it game. Well, Sam Darnold, prime time, Saturday night, the number 1 seed for the second year in a row is on the line. If he comes out and looks like garbage on Saturday night, we can feel we moved on. If he comes out and he looks phenomenal, then
I still want to see playoffs. I still want to see playoffs.
Absolutely explode. But playoffs for sure.
He'll have a bye too.
So. But we'll have to see how he handles this one. And again, you're going against defense that's not very good. The Bears put up a ton of points on him last night, which by the way, what an amazing football game. That was game of the year for me. But we're going to get to see it. We're going to get to see Sam Darnold with everything on the line again in a primetime game. Let's see how he does.
I know. That's going to be crazy. And the hater in me, I'm speaking for Casey right now. But no, obviously, like, I want to know. It's hard because I like Sam Darnold and you want to root for him, but it's tough. Like, you kind of
Vikings fans have made it, so I cannot.
Yeah. Luckily, no one's even brought it up when he threw 130 yards and that's it against us. And last time we played against them.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. The quarterback thing is going to be interesting. There's going to be some names out there, though. I don't want to. There's too many out there that I don't think we need to trade for one. The Malik Willis thing is going to be interesting. I don't think there's no. I feel like there's a chance that someone is going to give him a real shot.
Yeah, I think
he's on that kind of thing.
In a Colts situation where he goes to a team that like basically has a quarterback,
like a Sam Darnold situation.
Yeah,
like a really real Sam Darnold situation.
Yeah, like I think it goes somewhere and they're like, hey, if we can do better, great. If not, though, we know he's going to be able to play.
Great. And another good thing about him playing well is just all that first round talk. Even us ourselves talked about Malik Willis. It's crazy when you do see. Like it'd be really cool to see him go off somewhere else and end up being really good, because it's just one of those things where you're like, oh, it really did just take him some time and he got better and all those kinds of things. And he was that guy who you're like, oh, this guy's like really raw, but he has a lot of upside, all that kind of thing. And to actually like, he was given some time and then actually ends up being a good quarterback, which one crazy thing is, what if there's a world where Jordan Love just gets traded and Malik Willis hops up
in Green Bay?
Yeah.
Fuck that. I want to see Darnold versus Rams in the playoffs. He's going to see ghosts. I want to see Sam go down. I appreciate the 1999 there, Smokey. Agreed. And I hate to say it because I love me some Sam Darnold.
Dude, Darnold's shaking in his boots that he doesn't have. Like who the Rams. So I don't know what the playoff scenario looks like, but it's whoever wins between San Fran and Seattle gets the number 1 seed.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So does that mean the Rams are locked into number 3 or the Bears locked into number 3?
No, no one. I mean,
or I guess if Seattle loses, do they go?
Wild card.
They go to the wild. Oh yeah, duh.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm just trying to think of the scenario where he plays the Rams. So if
they could very well do that in the playoffs. I don't know how
or even in the first round. Like if he loses to San Francisco and then goes out and plays against the Rams again. If Sam wins, the Viking Nation panics.
They I don't know if they'd be able to play till like the championship game. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they would. Because they would be 5. They would be 5-6. So I don't think they'd be able to play till they made it all the way to the championship game if they get there.
Yeah.
Well, they can't be 7. The Packers are locked into 7. So the Rams and Seahawks and Niners are either going to be the 5 or 6 seed. One will win the division. One will be the 5 and 6. And the other 2 will be the 5 and 6.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's the thing with. I mean, obviously with Darnold, we would be in the playoffs. But honestly, even if JJ McCarthy never got injured, which hypothetical he did, and that's an issue.
Yep.
But if he didn't, like, there's a real possibility that we could be in the playoffs. Like he could have won one more game, like that Steelers game. I feel like JJ McCarthy could have won that one.
Right. You know? And then at some point, O'Connell would have altered the offense earlier than he did because he'd have seen enough to know, like, okay, we got to do something.
Hopefully.
But obviously, you can't play those games, unfortunately, because season is where it's at. But we'll talk about the meaning of that a little bit later on here. But anyway, quarterback-wise, fun stuff. We'll see what happens. Something needs to happen in the offseason. But I do think JJ McCarthy, again, unless barring a blockbuster Joe Burrow or Lamar trade, which I just don't see, McCarthy's going to be probably the favorite to have the job going into next season.
Yeah, that's a conversation that not with McCarthy, just kind of going off a little bit. What's going on, my cousin Garrett in the building? Let's go. We were talking about conversation of what teams do we think are the best in each conference, and I know we said Buffalo, but man, that AFC is tough.
It is.
The AFC is tough because now
the Buffalo just in the AFC.
I know the Buffalo just lost, obviously, is against the Eagles, but still, like, and they've lost some. I'm not convinced by any of the teams in the AFC.
Yeah,
like, I feel like an NFC team has the best shot at winning a ship this year.
The problem with Buffalo, to me, and it was the problem last year, is the lack of a good receiver. Like they're like the Packers. They have a bunch of wide receiver twos. They don't have a
wide receiver one. Not even wide receiver twos.
Even like Dalton Kincaid. Is it just an average tight end? They have James Cook, which is great. Josh Allen does a lot of things, but that defense isn't very good. Like, and that's the problem with the Bills. Like, it feels like this, and it's funny for them because this is their year, right? Like, don't have to worry about Patrick Mahomes for the first time since Josh Allen has been a good quarterback, and now you're still not even the best team in your conference. And a lot of the great teams have amazing defenses, so it's that AFC is gonna be tough for sure.
The NFC, though, is interesting. San Francisco, I know you kind of brought them up. I'm not Their defense,
their defense
it's
is
just
dog shit.
it's just not that good enough, man. They
No.
don't bring enough pressure. Let Caleb Williams do what he did.
Right. And
so
then
that's like that's a hole on that team, which was known to be such a good defense.
For sure. And then like so many injuries too. I mean, they could get Fred Warner back by the NFC title game potentially, but and then you look at a team like the Bears, where like I mean, honestly, as a Vikings fan, it's hard to say this. I love what the Bears are doing, but you just don't feel like on offense or defense they're quite to that level to go all the way yet.
I mean, we should have beat them twice.
For sure. I mean, that defense gave up a ton of yards yesterday. I get it going up against a pretty talented 49ers offense, but it just feels then the offense and the same thing with us back in when we won all those one-score games. Like the way the Bears are winning, it's fun and it's good for the future, good for confidence of the team, but it's not sustainable when it comes to the playoffs, I don't think. When you're playing the top tier guys that have been there, done that,
I know.
Right?
I don't think so. They're going to be that team that needs another year.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just, it feels like that.
The NFC North is only going to keep getting better. So will they repeat next year? Who knows? And like, I mean, I do got to agree with Smokey. Like I look at the Rams and they just seem in the NFC, they seem like the most complete to me.
Yeah.
I mean, the Seahawks are right up there, but it all depends. How does Sam Darnold play, right? Like we know Stafford can play in the playoffs. We know he's got Puka, Devontae Adams as his top
Devontae
receiver.
Adams,
that defense has a ton of talent.
How long is Devontae Adams hurt?
He's been out for a couple weeks, and I mean, I'm sure
he's going to be ready by
playoffs, which
because that team is with him too. Because I mean, Stafford's been sacked the least amount of times in the NFL this year. You got Kyron and Blake Corum, who's really kind of semi broke out this season.
Yeah,
and then that defense has been one of the top defenses in the NFL. On top,
so the Rams to me feel like the favorite in the NFC. AFC wise, like, and again, I don't know, and their defense is phenomenal. I don't know if that Broncos offense is enough. I don't. Same thing about the Chargers. Like I just don't know. That defense is really good, but how is their offense going to be? Like, I mean, they haven't really proven anything yet. Jacksonville in the AFC is interesting. Like defense
that is interesting.
Good. That offense has been fun.
And they have talent. They definitely have a lot of talent there.
Two or three good running backs.
It just feels. It's like that team where you're just like, you just forget about them. You're just like, yeah, but they're gonna get bounced week one or something or first week of playoffs.
Yeah. Maybe next week, once the playoffs are finalized, we should do a little prediction. Get a bracket together, do some playoff predictions.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Rams, and then you can't sleep on the Eagles. Like I would not be surprised if the Eagles ended up just winning it all.
Yeah,
because they arguably still have the most complete team.
Yeah, that offense can pop at any time.
Yeah, should have already.
And that defense is still, I mean, that front is amazing. I mean, Cooper DeJean's kind of coming into his own this year. Yeah. Plus they got what's the other guy's name?
Quentin Mitchell.
Quinion Mitchell.
Quinion Mitchell.
Like, you're right. Like they're like, I mean, I think the noise around how meh their offense has been this year has kind of put a damper on them. But I mean, they literally have two top receivers and one of the best running backs in football behind a good offensive line, and Jalen Hurts, who has shown he can make the big play when he needs to.
Yeah,
so
it's one of those teams
for sure.
It's one of those teams where you're like sleeping on them because, like you said, the offense things, and then it's playoffs times, and now everybody, that's the thing when you have that amount of talent, like you can kind of take off the regular season a little bit and then go balls out during playoffs. Like feels like that can happen. Like every player on that team is going to want to play their hardest.
It's Chiefs. Like every year, the Chiefs are
the Patriots at some
get through the regular season, get me to the playoffs. Usually they'll have the one seed or whatever on some home games. But I don't. I think this playoff season is going to be really fun. Like there's a lot of the juggernaut teams are gone, right? Like no pay. I
know that's why I wish we were in there.
Like it feels absolutely wide open. Like and it just like there's weaknesses on every team except for a couple where it feels like they're strong.
I think the Rams and the Eagles are the two teams that I feel like are the most complete.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yep. Then on the AFC side, the AFC side, there's weaknesses everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's gonna be fun. I think this is gonna be a real interesting playoff.
Yeah, and first off, we just need the Bears and the Packers to lose,
which they'll play. One of them's going to get eliminated that first week. So it sounds like they're going to play each other, and I don't think the Packers have enough. I just don't like.
I just don't believe in the Chicago. I think they're the I think they're the fakest team in playoffs.
That's the thing. Like when we did this type of shit back 2022, everyone was like, "Oh, the Vikings are fraudulent." You don't hear that about the Bears. Everyone's all excited about them. Like
I know. No, they're frauds. I think they're the most. Well, besides who is making it for the NFC South.
Oh, unless if the Falcons lose tonight, the winner of that game against between Carolina and Tampa would win the division.
Okay. Which, yeah, so obviously, even though Tampa, they got Mike Evans back or whatever, they could take a step
Tampa's
forward.
been a dumpster
but
fire.
They've been a disaster. They're just giving that playoff spot away.
Oh, for sure. Haven't they
and
lost
then on AFC, what's that?
7? Haven't they lost 7 of their last 8?
I don't know. All I know is they absolutely annihilated my Baker Mayfield card, probably, which sucks because I could have probably made a bunch of money if I would have gave it.
There's another name for a potential Vikings quarterback, Baker. Next year.
People are bringing that up.
On.
But he's going to be.
He's going to want to be a starter for sure. Yeah, you're bringing him in to start, not to back up, which I don't think.
Yep. You got to go after those borderline. The Daniel. You need to go find the Daniel Jones, the Sam Darnold.
Yeah,
that's what you got to do.
And if Daniel Jones hadn't freaking messed up his Achilles,
he could be on there too. But he probably would have got paid again. Falsely, true. Like he would have got paid again by the Colts.
They might not have let him go. Yeah, I don't know.
I know. That's crazy.
Yeah. Flacco's another name who's going to be out there. I mean, again, you're talking old, but still consistent enough.
Drew Brees, he could always come out of retirement out of nowhere.
Tom Brady.
At this point, anybody. Tom Brady said, give him 3 months or give him a month or whatever. He still be good out there. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. If Phillip Rivers does it, anybody can do it in my head.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on from the quarterback thing, fun conversation. We'll be able to talk a lot about that moving forward here because we've got no Viking games. Anyways, this defense though. So I just wanted to do some not shout out, whatever. Earlier in the season, it's so easy for everybody to talk shit about this offense. Well, which they deserve to, but there was a lot of shit talk about this defense and even more shit talk about how this team does not have the talent and is not good enough or is just not good. And that this team needs to have a complete restart and a refresh. I think a lot of people, there's still people who still have those opinions. But this defense, this last like 5-6 weeks, they've got to be arguably the best defense in the NFL. One receiving touchdown in that stretch. I mean, we had allowed 0 points to Washington. What we did against the Lions this last week was insane against arguably the most talented offense in the NFL.
Who needed to win, man. And a lot of that can be on Brian Flores, whatever. But this defense is a championship caliber defense. Like this defense, it does suck that you don't have this defense going into playoffs. And this defense is enough to carry an offense against this Lions team against a Lions team, an offense that we had that had 50 something passing yards or whatever it was for Max Brosmer. And I don't know. I guess my thing is obviously it doesn't matter for this year, but if you think this Vikings defense, who there's obviously we have to do some things with money or whatever, but as long as we have Brian Flores back next year, this defense shouldn't change that much. And to think that with the defense, the way they're playing, that you can't have an opportunity to be good next year, whatever, is crazy to me because this defense it's looking like what it did last year and even better. I mean, a couple of these games are so impressive. Other than against the run,
against the run.
Yeah. And you know me, like I've been very critical of the Flores defense, but I feel like, conversations happen. I'm sure, him and O'Connell are talking weekly. I do think there became a point where O'Connell's like, hey, quarterback wise, whatever, we're just not getting up out of this offense. Do what you got to do. And because I do feel like he got a little more aggressive over the last month or so, wouldn't you say? Or he got a little bit more creative with the disguises. And because Jared Goff is a veteran quarterback who's played MVP caliber football throughout his career.
Dude, and what he did to Jackson,
he looked lost out there.
Yeah,
look what he did to Jackson Dart the week before. Like,
dude, he just completely mind fucked him. Nothing else to say.
He has been in his bag the last month and a half of the season, dude, and we've seen this at times throughout the last couple seasons as well. Where even back to the 2023 season, where like that defense did not have a lot of talent on it, but he took them as far as he could, right? And like it's just. You got to be impressed. And yes, it's frustrating sometimes. We have a lot of wide open receivers sometimes in the backfield. I get that. Not very good against the run. All understand all that type of stuff. But, just what he can do just with, honestly, not even the most talented defensive roster. Like, And I think a big part of it too is kind of letting Harrison Smith be Harrison Smith, because
Mm-hmm.
Harrison Smith's had a little resurgence. He's one interception
Right.
away from being only the third defensive back in NFL history to have a 40 picks, 20 sacks. I mean, I think that's been a big part of it too. So
right.
And
so
like
hopefully
he's
he gets
coaching.
that.
I mean, Dallas Turner. He's coaching Dallas Turner up. Turner's taking a step forward with Grenard out. I mean, obviously we have Cashman and Wilson, who have both been phenomenal. Jalen
And
Redmond.
don't forget the other quiet assassin.
LDR. He's also doing pretty well too.
Another white guy. Andrew Van Ginkel.
Oh yeah, duh. Oh yeah,
the quiet assassins in that game, dude.
Yeah. Then,
Harrison Smith and
Byron
Andrew
Murphy, worth all the money, 2 straight picks.
Yeah, 2 straight picks. Yeah, it was when it really mattered. Andrew Van Ginkel, though, dude, always his instincts are insane, and man, that's why it'll be interesting to see what happens with Harrison Smith. But I'm starting to lean they ain't gonna want to leave.
And a big part of that, I think, will be what happens with anything else on just the defense in general before we move on to the big A topic of the day.
Yeah, just that this defense is legit, and it's going to be legit for the next couple of years as long as this guy's still around, because I don't know what will happen if he's not.
Yeah, for sure. And
I'm scared to find out.
A huge impact on Harrison Smith, and honestly, even maybe some of the guys that are potential free agents kind of coming up here. They got to find a way to keep him around. And Kevin O'Connell talked today. Basically, kind of, someone asked him about the whole thing, and he says, I mean, he deserves a head coaching job. He's going to get those opportunities, but obviously they want to keep him in the fold. Reports came out that we've been working on something with him, and I think even Josina Anderson hinted at the fact, and O'Connell kind of mentioned it today too, that unless he gets a head coaching job, he wouldn't take a lateral move to go be a defensive coordinator somewhere else. I know people are talking about going to Dallas and being the defensive coordinator over there. It sounds like basically O'Connell himself and some other media personalities are rejecting that it'd basically be Vikings or head coaching job at this point.
Gotta be. Hopefully.
But they got it. And I think O'Connell today, O'Connell, the way he put it today, I don't think he gives a shit if he makes the same amount of money as he does. He just knows this team's best shot to win. Because again, this isn't a team that is going to want to start over at defense next year, right? This is a team that needs to win next year.
Yeah.
And the best case scenario for that to happen is to bring Brian Flores back. So offer him whatever. I don't think he's going to just take whatever coaching job it would get offered to him. I think he's going to be selective, because why wouldn't you be at this point? Mm-hmm. But whatever they can do to keep him around, they have to do it, just for stability's sake and just what he's done with this defense. And we can add more talent this offseason too as well. So I don't know. I'm and you know me, I haven't always been pro Flores, but I've been very impressed with how he's handled it this last month, especially when the offense just wasn't picking up their end of the bargain for the most part here. So yeah, I mean, they got to find a way to bring him back. And it sounds like everyone's on the same page about that. It's all just, and I'm sure Flores will be asked about that. I believe he does his press conference on Wednesday. I'm sure that's going to come up. But yeah, I think he likes it here. I think him and O'Connell have a great relationship. I think he's learned a lot about leadership from O'Connell as well. I mean, it's an absolute, just, it seems like a good match, right? And especially, like I said, for a team that needs to win next year, keep as much continuity as you can. And like I said, if Flores comes back, I could see Harrison Smith going for one last ride here as well. And I know a lot of people are like, well, if Flores doesn't like what the Vikings do at quarterback, would that push him somewhere else? I don't think so. No. I think,
fuck no.
I mean, I think he knows. I think he knows that O'Connell, he's seen what O'Connell can do with offenses. So I think he knows.
Yeah, right? I think there's definitely some mutual respect there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's it's 60% head coaching job, 40% he comes back. I don't think there's any sliver of that pie where he goes and takes a lateral move somewhere else.
Yeah, he better not. That would be the worst case scenario, is he just goes, because I know all the Cowboys fans are just licking their chops, talking about him coming over there to be their defensive coordinator. I'm like, why would he leave? Unless we just lowballed him and the Cowboys gave him a lot of money, which should not happen. There's zero reason why anyone should give him more money than us. And I don't think they would. But the big thing is just you got players that you've already been working on for years, aka especially Dallas Turner, a guy that felt like a Brian Flores guy based off of Brian Flores' interviews and things like that. And I think Brian Flores would love to see Dallas Turner flourish. And I do think that's what he's going to there's just too many players on this team that Brian Flores has already been working through and working on. And I mean, Same with Redmond and things like that, where it's like, why start all the way over, especially when you should feel like you have a good, in my opinion, you have a team. We already beat, you went to the Cowboys. We already, we whooped that ass. So, and with JJ McCarthy. So, yeah, I don't know. And I think there's that mutual respect. I think he understands the whole quarterback situation that has happened for us. And JJ McCarthy has shown some promise. So I do think, I don't think the quarterback thing, that's crazy to me to think like, oh, depending on what that's just getting overblown. Other than the injury part, that part's fair.
Yeah.
Why would anyone want to work under Jerry Jones? Yeah, I don't know. I just don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. Him going as a defensive coordinator, obviously, if someone offers a head coach job, we're probably fucked.
Yeah.
And
I
just,
mean,
but
it's got to be a good one. I feel like it has to be a good one, though, if he's going to go.
So here's my question is, let's say he does leave and becomes a head coach. What do you, how significantly do you think that hits this defense?
I mean, if they have someone that's been kind of like an understudy, like I know Durante Jones, a name that comes up. I mean,
yeah,
he's the one that they've let call plays in the preseason during that last game.
Right.
But I mean, if they have to go outside of the sphere to go get somebody, it's a huge impact because you're going into the next season having to switch up your. I mean, your offense stays the same under O'Connell, but you go into next season and you have to switch up the entire defense and new schemes and like, do the players you have, are they going to fit the scheme that the new defensive coordinator wants to bring in? I think it'd be pretty significant. I mean, it'd be pretty significant unless they had someone in the fold that they could just promote. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, there's not. I like some of the talent here, but that is mostly significant on the secondary where you have the wrong. If you bring back, if you had Donatel, like if Donatel, like this secondary would be fucking toast with Donatel. It feels like, So the fact that Brian Flores can do what he did with this talent, like it just feels like the talent, like the fact that we've allowed like bottom 5 receptions, receiving yards, touchdowns to wide receivers is wild with the secondary, the talent on there.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark,
the
Phil,
good thing is,
it's been a minute.
Hold on, Mark. The good thing is we'll have our answers in probably about 2 weeks because I do think that things are going to move kind of fast when it comes to head coach hiring. I mean, obviously next week there'll be a week from today there'll be a bunch of firings, and then you'll kind of know who's talking to who and who's interviewing for what. And so I think we'll have a pretty good indication a couple weeks, like probably 2 weeks from tonight, what's going to happen there.
Yeah. And Brian Flores should be the most sought after coordinator out there. So it'd happen quick if it's going to happen.
But a good thing is that the talks are already happening. I mean, O'Connell has made it known that, hey, we want you around here. It sounds like there's mutual interest. O'Connell said today is like, from what we've talked about, I would not see him leaving for another just defensive coordinator job. So all that, the fact that those conversations are already happening is great. Kind of with where this team is at right now. And again, so we'll see. So again, the biggest thing that would pull him away is another head coaching job, and that's pretty much, in my mind, that's pretty much the only way I see him leaving.
Yeah. Yep. And hopefully, and that's another thing too, is like, at what point do you, at what point you're just like, all right, like this is just a fucking pain in my ass every single year trying to get a head coaching job, and you just say fuck it and sign I don't even know. You just like, I'm just gonna be defensive coordinator for a while. That's like what I'm hoping happens, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I get why you continuously aim to become a head coach, but we'll see what happens there. One thing. So this week, also just a heads up, everybody. This Thursday, obviously, we'll be on for the Vikings-Packers pregame, but it will be our last Thursday stream of the season. Obviously, just during the season, we do Monday, Thursday. We'll still be going every single Monday throughout the entire offseason and things like that. Just wanted to bring that up. But talking about this game, Vikings finished strong. So the Vikings have finished strong. Obviously, we talked about it. They've won 5 straight, playing for nothing, without playoffs. 4 straight. This would be 5 straight this week. Obviously that hits our draft position. I think we were at 12
and now we're down to 17,
and now we're down to 17, as well as our schedule with hopping over the Lions, in a game against the Packers that you can't, like, even if you wanted the Vikings to lose this, they're against their backup. So it'd look really fucking bad if we did. I guess, what is your thoughts on just like our situation?
Yeah. See, Yeah,
all
so
that. Yeah.
I understand draft position, easier schedule because I mean, if we win, if we win, the Lions are in the cellar. We move up to third place, only a half game out of second place. So I understand all those conversations, which is
That's true,
fine.
Dan. Very
And I
true.
know a lot of people, some people in the chat might not agree with this. Like that is all fine if you're a team that does not expect to compete next year. There's a ton of pressure on this front office if Kwesi sticks around. This front office and coaching staff to get to the playoffs and not only get there, but as T-Bass always likes to say, win a freaking playoff game. Right? There's a lot of pressure on this organization to do that. So you want to go into the offseason with as much confidence as possible. And if McCarthy does play, you want him to go into the offseason which with as much confidence as possible. Winning is a good thing. And Kevin O'Connell always says winning in December, January is good no matter where you're at schedule-wise, because that's the last thing you're going to remember next season. It's like, hey, we struggled early, but we came together and we ended up winning 5 games, 2 of them against your division at the end of the season. Let's leave that off to the side here too. Like, I don't want to lose to the Packers at home. I don't care if you're playing their backups. I don't care if it gets you a better draft pick. I don't care about any of that. I do not want to lose to the Packers at home. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like anyone that wants to, come on now.
Especially right now.
Yeah. But I just think with this team expecting to compete next year, you want to end the season on the highest note as possible. If this was a rebuilding team, fine. Lose, get better draft picks. But no, in my mind, you win this game if you can.
Yeah, you finish the season with a winning record. You go in and be like, hey, we sucked earlier on. We finished the season winning 5 in a row, had a winning season. You could use that as motivation going in the offseason and going into next season as well against like I said, a Packers team it's going to be playing mostly backup. So it should be one that we should do. Like the worst case scenario is coming here and lose to a Packers team without their backups playing against their backups. And that's really going to be, obviously kind of a bummer going in the offseason, I think. And just to bring it up, it sounds like I think so. I have to look into more. So if anybody knows more than me, you can correct me. But I think if we win, so right now we're at 17. And if we win, I don't think we go past 18. So it's not like if we win, it will bring us to like in the 20s or anything like that. It'll just be one spot, which isn't the end of the world. Obviously, if you lose, there's potential to fall further down. But yeah, at this point, you just got to win. And like you said, it just feels more about the importance of the momentum going into this offseason, especially if you can get JJ McCarthy to play, and especially if he plays well. And we feel like you get this whole offseason for him to work on his mechanics and all those kinds of things would be huge.
Right. Because again, now this offseason for him, it's not whether he plays or not. This offseason for him now isn't mechanics, health, and can the dude play in the NFL, right? The number one thing we know is he can play in the NFL. He's shown us that over the last month. Now it's all about, can he work on the mechanics, which is going to be easier to do knowing that the hand isn't completely broken and it'd be a month injury, maybe, and he's already 2 weeks into it. And then the other thing is so working on the mechanics is fine. The other thing is the health concerns. And that is where having to get a better backup quarterback option does play a role here. But yeah, I mean, I hope he can play. I hope he can come out and look good against, even if it's the Packers backups, and go into the offseason with a ton of confidence, knowing like, hey, I can play in the NFL. I just got to work on some of the stuff behind the scenes, which I'm going to have a ton of time for, and then move forward with it all.
Mm-hmm. And that's right, Dan. So yeah, 18 is literally the lowest we can possibly go without making playoffs. I mean, usually not the most optimal spot to be in, but that's why we need to see McCarthy out there.
Like,
what a big railing if we win in Detroit.
And this is fair, but who cares? Why would you want to? I don't want to be losers. I don't want to be 4th place in the division.
Wait, what if Detroit wins and we win?
I think no matter what, we have.
We can't lose to the Packers and their back.
As I've said, it is fuck the Packers always. I don't care in what scenario it's in. And if you want to lose to the Packers, I question if you're actually.
I'm not, especially against their backups. We can against their backups when, like what Casey said, it is far more important for us to. Not everybody thinks the same way. Not everybody thinks this team can still be competitive, even though I think that we're a handful of players away and your quarterback being consistent away from being really competitive. You want this offseason to be filled. You want to go in this offseason with momentum, and you want this team's morale to be high with the fact that they finished the season the way that they did and truly believe that they can come in next year and compete for a championship. Too Evil with the $5. Yeah, we might as well just trade back into the 7th round. Your position in the draft doesn't matter to most Viking fans. Hell, we'll just take undrafted free agents. They have been doing pretty good so far. Appreciate the $5. Your position draft doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just like what level does it matter at?
You draft where you draft at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean,
there's
sometimes
going
it matters.
to be talented players at every spot, and yes, it is going to be up to Quizzy to make the right decisions, which is
the difference. 17 and like 14 isn't crazy significant. So it's just like, would I rather jump up 3 spots? I don't even know if that's even what it would be. It'd be like 2 spots or whatever, and then just lose to a Packers team that has their backups out there. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think I'm going to find that difference level of talent there. Speaking of that, though, I do need to do a mock draft next week. Next week we'll do a mock draft on Monday.
And this is it right here. Like, well, I think we have our quarterback. True, because they're not drafting another quarterback. So picking 15 to 18, it really isn't that big of a deal. Like, tanking and getting a better draft pick is different when you are looking for that quarterback.
Yeah, and the only players so far, I haven't gotten into all of this yet, but the only 2 players that I was like hoping we could maybe get was Caleb Downs or Jeremiah Love, and even that was a pipe dream in my opinion at the 11th or 12th pick. Especially right. Caleb, I just don't see it happening. I know he's a safety, but I think both those guys go top 10. At least in my opinion. So I feel like between them and then between the 17th pick, there's a few guys there that I'll be happy with getting if we were to draft today anyways.
Right, for sure.
So we'll see what's up.
Yeah, but anyway, finish with a positive record. I mean, when we were 4-8, I don't think anyone thought. I don't care. It's funny because everyone wants to talk about how we beat all the shit teams. When we were 4-8, I don't think anyone thought we were winning another game, right? So to be able to go and just rattle off 5 wins after that in a row, like, goddamn.
And obviously, we're gonna talk pregame Packers. Obviously, it's gonna be pretty. It's not a game. I don't know. There's not much to say about that game and the keys to victory and all that stuff, but a couple big things we got to talk about. And Justin Jefferson, definitely number 1 priority is getting him his 1,000 yards. And that's what I was talking about earlier, where I'm like, I don't know if I feel confident that Max Brosmer is the guy to go ahead and do it. So I'm really hoping we got McCarthy out here. And then I think it sounds like most likely Brosmer is the guy to start, but I'm like, you got to figure it out.
Let her rip,
gotta figure it out.
Let her rip.
Yeah, I don't care if he has 10 interceptions against backups. I mean, we've seen. I don't know. I don't care. You have to give Justin Jefferson his 1,000 yards. You have to.
Yeah,
that's priority number 1.
For sure. But obviously, we can talk about all that stuff on Thursday. But yeah, I mean, anything else on this one? I mean, a lot of stuff. There's a lot of interesting. It's going to be a real interesting offseason no matter what. I mean, a lot of questions that need to be answered earlier rather than later. And then when you get into free agency, the draft, seeing how many picks we're going to have and kind of seeing what Quizzy can do with those. Because it's going to be the first time where he's going to have a significant amount of draft picks. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. But either way, I'm excited.
Yeah.
But anything else from you?
I think not. Like I said, we'll be here on Thursday to talk about this Packers game. And hopefully at that point, we're feel confident JJ McCarthy is starting. And yeah, we can be excited about it.
So anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you guys on Thursday. Have a great New Year. I guess we'll see you New Year's. We'll see you guys next year.
Oh yeah.
On the 1st New Year's night for sure. But anyway, see you guys then. Have a great rest of your week.
Let's go Vikes.